Go.
We're live. You're watching my favorite YouTube channel. I am Chillmonger, being joined by a live and alert from the north side of the dirt. It is your boy, Be Real with D Real. What edutainment is what I do. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Do what I always tell you to do. If you're digging what a brother's shoveling, put some dirt in my bucket. What else do you say? You got a lot of sayings.
I do, but right now it's not about me, chill. It's about what we're going to be
Oh,
discussing today.
I thought you were gonna throw it back to me. We're talking about this comic book. What you guys don't got the variant cover? Nah,
Now
or
I
maybe
got
you do.
this one.
Ooh, we're out here
Now,
supporting
which
that.
is also an homage to Amazing Spider-Man number 16, which is the first appearance.
Look at you. A lot of homages here. A lot of taking things back here.
Uh,
I'm I'm echoing a little bit. No, I'm not. Look, I'm happy with the way that this comic book is rewarding. I just watched a 2 hour and something interview with the writer Eve Ewing. Look at the YouTube channel Black Comic Lords, and you guys can watch it too. She begins with the photon stuff. There's a lot of Ironheart stuff if you're into that character. She mentioned Champions, mentioned Storm a whole bunch of times came up, and then we closed out that interview they did with Black Panther because she will be the writer of it in June coming up. That whole entire
Congratulations.
thing, yeah, like it don't get any higher. I tweeted that like that's the peak of her career. The editor at Marvel is never gonna call Eve Ewing and say, "Hey, you're next to write the Avengers. You're next to write the you know the top tier characters who aren't black. That's it. Maybe she can do a Storm comic book, I guess. So 1A, 1B, T'Challa and Storm. But but real talk, that is the highest that this character could go. This writer could go, because that's the box that they put you in.
Yeah,
So
in her field. Yeah.
in her field, there's
Yeah.
the X office. There's like the Spider-Man office, what Nick Lowe handles. And then there's the Black Superhero office, which she's doing fine in, because the Stone of Hala, which debuted in the Ironheart series, actually played into a part. If you guys read the Monica Rambeau stuff, Monica's like, "Oh, I'm the only one who can kind of transport this Stone of Hala thing." Okay, that's interesting to me, because if you're the only one who can transport it, then we're gonna need you again, and we're gonna have Ironheart crossover. If Ironheart had this thing called the Wellspring of Power, well, and this is the Stone of Hala, by the way. It was at Doctor Strange's sanctum. The artwork is a little bit small, but you can see it.
Yeah. That's
The
what she
Wells
brought back in the first issue of Photon.
she brought it back at first issue Forta, and then the final issue of Ironheart in Wakanda, we find out that's where the Wellspring of Power is, and it's the main goal of the antagonists in the Ironheart series. Guess who's writing Black Panther next, and said that she's going to be exploring Wakanda, and all of this stuff is going to connect. So there is sort of universes within the universe of writers tying their work together. Long-winded answer, I know. Look, the comic opens up with confusion. Monica ended the last issue with her going really fast and zooming through space.
Just
I need you to get
disappeared.
away.
Yeah.
She just needed a breather. And now she's where?
On a boat in the middle of the harbor in New Orleans.
Which is cool. It's good to make it known that not every superhero is a New Yorker. Love when that happens. She talks, and
Yeah, there it is. There it is.
when they go back in time like this, at a time period when she was the Captain Marvel of the Avengers and leading it, I go, okay, this happened in the 80s, sure. But technically, Marvel's timeline means that it only happened a few years ago. So I better not see 80s speak. I better not see like automobiles from the 80s. Everything better be modern still, because that's how the sliding timeline works.
Facts.
I was
Facts.
just really picky with that. I'm sorry. I know we're supposed to give these guys more, respect and be like they know what they're doing. But I was like, nah, I can't wait. Here comes a meteorite, and we spent way too long during my initial review on this. I was talking about how there's page after page. How did we not realize like this meteorite still falling? Then she's like, "Let me intercept it. Let me." And the words Dark Force come out when she says, "It's been a minute, but I know this feeling, this cold void trapping me, sapping everything out of me. Dark Force.
She's been there before.
Tell me about this."
That is a reference to an issue of the Avengers back in the 80s when she first joined. Um, a team which boasted, ironically, the likes of Star Fox and She-Hulk. Hmm.
Oh,
Shape of
Star
things,
Fox from the Eternals, that dude.
shape of things to come. But
Oh.
anywho, um she is kind of confident, with her powers because I got these light powers and I can pass through things and I can burn and crush and kill and destroy. And up until that point, she had never ran into anything that just not only stopped her, but it was like, oh no. And there was a villain by the name of Blackout.
Oh, I like that name.
And his primary power was the manipulation of Dark Force.
So she's got her own villain. She's got her own little kryptonite weakness. This
Yeah.
character, what? All
Yeah.
right, there she
Yeah.
is. So
So
we're building on things that may be built on. Maybe this is just a little tease of Dark Force, and that's all. But maybe there's more coming. Kenny Pierce over here says $4.99 support for the monger of chill. Look at all the love that happens here on this YouTube channel. Thank you, Kenny. I appreciate you. I like seeing you here. I like seeing you in other people's live chats too. It's a whole community here happening
that's what's up. Yeah,
on a
yeah.
Photon
I see a
Friday.
lot of I see a lot of people that are in my chats in other people's chats, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, I feel the community.
Yeah, the networking is working. The networking is working.
Definitely.
You
Most
know,
definitely.
with Dark Force, with her villain, what would you say the villain's name was?
Blackout.
Blackout.
Yeah, yeah.
With the villain Blackout, do you perceive that will be the final fight here in issue number 5 of Monica Rambeau Photon?
Mm, that would be a formidable fight. That wouldn't be too bad of a thing. The way she's been respecting the source material, I wouldn't say that was too out of the wheelhouse. But the only thing about it, usually Blackout is, even though he's a very powerful character, he's always one of those characters that has to be manipulated by a mastermind. So,
Uh,
who would a mastermind be that's got an angry on for Monica Rambeau?
enters chat. Could it be the Beyonder? The new and improved Beyonder looks a little bit differently. I talked
They did say they were summoned to this dimension by Monica Rambeau's energy.
and the thing that it tied back to, which was the beginning and her origin. Eve Ewing said in the interview that I'm going to reference a couple more times today, that when she was talking to the editor Tom Brevoort, they were like, "Hey, no teams. Just make sure this is building on her origin." Like, and advice like that, like this is supposed to be a Monica Rambeau kind of like starting off point, introduction type thing. I'm paraphrasing, but from what she said, this is definitely an origin. T Virus Terran says, "Hello, Chillmonger and D Real. What's going on, bro?"
What up, T?
We have a couple people who are just one guy, Marklin, who I asked to give me his take on what happened in this comic book, and he's going to give us 3 parts.
This is Marklin Sigler, and I'm here to give you a hot take on Monica Rambeau Photon. 3 things off the top of my head. 1, the last page of this issue. Monica Rambeau is married to somebody. And it makes sense. I'm happy to see the character, and it makes sense. I never thought they would be a good pairing, but I could see them as a good pairing. And I'm curious to see what happens next because that last page reveal.
That last page reveal of Jericho Drum,
Yeah,
Brother Voodoo, to
yeah.
me, it didn't hit for me. It was, but neither did last month's issue too. I go, oh, okay, Jericho Drum, yeah, Brother Voodoo, I get it. But since everyone isn't really themselves, this isn't really him either. Since you just showed me that Adam Brashear's relationship with Monica is not a long-term one, and that has come to an end. Eve Ewing did say read issue number 3 for some more Adam Brashear Blue Marvel follow up. She did say that, but
Groovy. Groovy.
when you tell me that this is not a character who's going to have relationships, I guess, then I go, oh well, That doesn't matter. I know that Thor, Captain America, She-Hulk, and Dr. Druid, I know that everything will return back to normal like the end of a Simpsons episode. So this,
Right.
where are the stakes and where's the surprise? Now, Marklin, no, somebody told me, somebody said so, that that's a callback. Who said this? It might have been Paul from the exact interview that I keep referencing, but he mentioned how this was something that was used. He might have said it was a what if comic, but there is a prior history in publication between Monica and between Brother Voodoo. So again, even when I criticize something like this, E-viewing is doing it for a reason. It's rewarding to the fans. I've been criticizing E-viewing all the time, and then getting like, no, you got to think of it this way. Even back to her Ironheart, when her dad was alive, I go, this is bullshit. In Empire Strikes Back, Vader reveals he's the father of Luke, and that your dad is secretly he's still alive, and it's a bad guy. And I go, this trope has been played out. How many times have we seen it? And then when I think about it, how often remember Monkey Butt Frank Rambeau? How often do we always complain that there's never fathers, specifically black fathers in media? And I'm like, well,
Yeah.
I can look at that now 3 years later and go, actually, I know why she did it. And I wonder if Brian Michael Bendis played a part in freaking that. Like, was Brian Michael Bendis's plan always to make her biological father still alive? I'll just kill the stepdaddy? We'll never know, I guess.
No.
Unless you want to get that interview cooking. You can get David Banner. Can you get Brian Michael Bendis?
I will have to check my fly paper and see what's sticking, as they said back in the day. But wanted to talk about the Jericho drum thing. I thought when I first saw that was nice flex, Eve. Monica Rambeau's history inside and out, because that's a really obscure reference. And I thought, unless you was a fan of Monica Rambeau, you never know that she had a brief interlude with Brother Drum there, and it's nice to see him because we don't really see him a lot lately anyway, unless he's got something going on that I'm not aware of.
No. Strange Academy, I think he was featured there in the first issue that I read. He was there.
Okay. Must have been an obligatory all magic guys on deck thing.
One of those, right? Like he was a teacher at the academy along with Ileana and a couple others.
See?
He's there for attendance. Chillmonger, D-Real. I can't stay because humans are picking me up. Please have a good day. Most certainly.
Peace, bro. Be good.
Left us alike. Okay. Let's go on to part 2 of what Marklin sent us in.
Number 2. I used to read the Avengers when Monica Rambeau was Captain Marvel and she was chairman of the Avengers. And even as a little kid, I remember the shadiness of Dr. Druid. And I think Eve Ewing must also have read it and remember the shadiness, because she perfectly captured the shadiness of Dr. Druid, who is a hero, but he's a dick, in this issue right here. I was like, okay, yeah, this is the Dr. Druid I remember. He's a hero, but he ain't nobody you really want to hang around either.
Well, we definitely got those vibes.
Man,
that disc that she gave was definitely not heaven if you're in here.
Man, she just had to jump up and yoke him like, I'm tired of you. Now you talking about my parents, and the thing about it, he's passive aggressive. And whose voice I imagine when I'm reading Dr. Druid's dialogue? Kelsey Grammer.
Kelsey Grammer, the Beast.
Yeah, that's the voice I hear when I hear Dr. Druid throwing all of that shade, just and so passive aggressively. Well, if you couldn't figure that out, perhaps you're not the one that should be leading us.
Oh, you've returned. We assumed you had abandoned us in the jungle.
The hell? Shut up. You see what I'm saying? Dude be throwing major shade.
What's up, TJ? What's up, Zang Beto?
What up?
Tim's Talk on your left. I like it. And as a guy who has no idea about the prior history between this character and all the prior stuff, didn't matter. I got it from the moment she goes, "Oh, it ain't heaven if Dr. Druid is here." Where is Dr. Druid? Does he die later on?
I think he died and came back, and he might have died again because he's such a dick.
Because
You know?
it's comics.
So yeah. Who cares? Actually, I think that's one character that if they made album, like, I'm really not interested.
Number 3 for Marklin.
And number 3, the Beyonder. I like this take on the Beyonder. It's a different take on the Beyonder. You know, the Beyonder originally appeared in the original Secret Wars and Secret Wars 2 back in the 80s. And then Bendis did this, well, not one Bendis, it was Hickman. Well, Bendis did a retcon on the Beyonder to make him an Inhuman or something like that. And then we had Hickman's Secret Wars, which kind of introduced the Beyonders. But we have now another cosmic being who is the Beyonder. But it's a different take on this Beyonder. And I'm interested to see where this goes as well. So right now, I highly recommend Monica Rambeau, Photon by Eve Ewing. I think everybody should check it out. Peace.
Yep, we all recommend it.
Yeah, most def.
What does he mean exactly about the Beyonder and the retcons?
The Beyonder is originally a man. But from the way I understood it, the Beyonder didn't have a form, a shape to speak of originally. He was just like a hole in another universe, and you were just, whatever you were directing towards him, you were directing towards that hole in the universe. But when he did take the shape of a regular human being, he took the shape of the first human being he saw. And the first human being he saw was Captain America. And he just kind of formulated his body shape and style off of Captain America, even though the guy was a brunette. And so when I look at Monica Rambeau and I look at the Beyonder and the shape she's taken, well, you look right there. You know? Is that a coincidence?
It's the first person I see I adapt and I look like Icon. Okay.
That part.
The Beyonder to me is a beyond. It's a Omega freaking up top tier level villain. It's not no street level stuff. If he wants to be a villain, he's sort of a little bit philosophical, a little bit antagonistic. But we'll see.
But not above being siphoned by Dr. Doom.
In a way, Flash by Night comics. I'm so confused because A, I don't know the history, and B, I don't know what's the truth. All of it is fake. All of this is the alternate reality. The only thing, the lessons that we can take from this is what Monica learns from this about always wanting to help out and all that stuff. The inside, internal stuff. But the New Orleans, the harbor, anything can happen. Things can be destroyed. There might be time travel for all we know.
If you've got the Beyond, I like that page. I like that big splash page of the Avengers, and look at Dr. Druid with the hole in his afro. He looks like a middle-aged man, like he doesn't belong amongst those superheroes.
And I guess that's why they pulled him. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. One thing I wanted to say about the Beyonder, and I think he made the distinction of Beyonder and Beyonders. They both seem to have like the same scope of power. Like, okay, if I want to, I can will this and it'll happen or it'll be done. That's kind of what the level of power we're dealing with here with the Beyonder. She's able to manipulate reality. So what we're looking at might very well be reality, but reality bent. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not so much that it's not happening. It is happening because the Beyonder is clearly able to look into Monica's mind and pull out key images. You know what I mean? Oh, that was a sore spot for her. Oh, that was a failure. Oh, that was a moment she really enjoyed. I'm going to mold all of this up into my reality. Poof, there you go.
He makes the whole entire page turn white, pulls that away, gives what she sees, and then there's this, where there's just like a movie playing, basically, bringing it back to the old school days.
Yeah, because she still got the Soul Glow afro there.
There's a lot of thought that went into the hair when you hear Eve Ewing speak about it, and it was cool. I think I heard Marcus and Theo also complimenting the way that they got their hair here by Lucas Warnock was the cover artist in that first issue. He killed it. He's he did his thing, and he did his research, and that's what people do. They do researches. Another thing Eve Ewing mentioned in the interview is that she did research. That's her thing. She is a
And it
college,
shows.
doesn't it? And it's her
Yes.
name on these editor's notes. EE. It's not freaking Will Moss. Who's actually the editor on this one? Is it Annalise Bisa? It is. Annalise Bisa is the main editor here. You can
And
see
unless they just have something maybe like storyboards or something like that, that you can just reference and scripts or something that say Dr. Druid throws shade at Monica Rambeau a lot. Or did she just like glean that through osmosis, reading the comic and reading and going, damn, this dude he's pretty salty about her being in charge, you know? So if she discovered it the second way, then that's even more beautiful that it's interweaved into this issue. If she read it somewhere and said, I think I might put this in my story, equally as impressive, but not as natural.
I want to see more from Eve Ewing. I know she's doing Black Panther coming up. I don't know if she's doing anything else other than Black Panther, but she's definitely somebody with a job who doesn't actually need to be working at Marvel Comics for a living, so she can choose what she wants, what she's offered, decline some other things, and Black Panther is it, bro.
If she goes like the Frank Miller route, you know what I'm saying, or like the Alan Moore route, I would be 100% for that. And just saying, okay, I don't care what the status quo is right now. This is what I'm doing. Because ultimately, isn't it the goal of every artist, every writer to put their own unique imprint on a character? Your own, where we say, you know what I'm saying? We don't refer to the stories or the characters. We say the Chris Claremont run on X-Men, because we messed with that whole run. You don't have to ask what issue. We read all of it.
Hickman's Fantastic Four, there's a whole bunch of them. Priest's Black Panther.
Yeah. Perez on Avengers.
Yep.
That art was just, rest in peace, George Perez. But yeah, his art on Avengers is just, in my opinion, the best.
And who can forget John Ridley's BP? You can forget. Is that you? Bro, I think there's a little bit of shade because, yes, I did watch the interview with Eve and her impressions on John Ridley, bro. She kept on saying stuff like, man, Priest and Hudlin and Ta-Nehisi Coates. And I'm like waiting for the fourth name, and it didn't come. And I was like, hey, there might be something there.
As well, it should not.
It might be on Twitter.
You put the stamp on it in the wrong way.
Do you remember that day last week when we were looking on Twitter? Everyone who ever wrote the word John Ridley, it would pop up on our feed, right?
Yeah.
And it was mostly negative. And then Eve Ewing, I did that after our stream ended because Monica Rambeau 2 also came out that day. And damn, it was just, can't wait for her to, do this. Oh, I love her writing. I was happy to hear that Eve Ewing is on it. Actually, I thought it was going to be Al Ewing, but they're fine. I was like, okay, you see, like this is, it's not like a reflection of Twitter being negative and guys were down on John Ridley, because when I type Eve Ewing's name, you get some positivity.
Yeah. Because we needed it at that point. We were still reeling from the beating T'Challa took in 13.
Hey, the cover for issue 15 has me so worried, but the new Avengers comic coming out actually has T'Challa on the cover. That's good. The new cover.
Is it T'Challa?
Yeah, on the Avengers comic, yes. On the Black Panther comic, that was a promotional image, as Eve Ewing let us know. This is not going to be the actual cover. We don't know the cover for June. We got to sit and wait to see what happens. I can assume that T'Challa will not be the lead of the Avengers comic book. He wasn't the lead in he was sharing the lead with Shuri. if he does that again in 2009, if he does that again here, where it's a Shuri book as Black Panther, T'Challa's there too, and it's showing them together, I'd prefer Shuri have her own series and make Aja Adon. Like America has how many superheroes? Wakanda can get 2 superheroes with 2 superhero titles. We shouldn't be boxing and restricting, but regardless, if somebody's really excited about Jed McKay Avengers. I
Uh,
feel like T'Challa, a Gotham without Batman, a Metropolis without Superman, a Black Panther without T'Challa. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'm tuning in though. It is e-viewing. I got to see what happens and how involved.
Two
Hmm.
instances of those characters that you mentioned. Metropolis without Superman. We got that after the Doomsday storyline back in the 90s. And the answer was Superman's job is so hard, we needed 4 separate characters patrolling Metropolis to do it.
Who were the 4?
Cadmus had made a Superboy based on the material they got from as Superman. There was this villain called Hank Henshaw, who's like parts robot and part like sentient energy being, who made himself into a cyborg Superman. And that's what he was telling people anyway. The injuries that I got from Doomsday, I had to have this cyborg stuff put on me. And so there was a cyborg Superman. Then there was like the essence of like a Kryptonian something that they formed a body at the Fortress of Solitude for. And that was like called the Eradicator. And then the last one, of course, was John Henry Irons, who we now know is Steel.
That was in 92, right?
Right. Then, after the Nightfall incident, where Bane breaks Bruce Wayne's back, this guy Azrael takes over as Batman. And he's like this really 90 armored spikes and claws and everything that was cool about the 90s. It was on this dude's costume. And find out he's this trained assassin who's got like, these built-in kill orders and stuff that, he reacts to and like, oh my God, I might start killing things. And
finally Batman kills.
Yeah, and then it's like, hey, you're not the right Batman. So Batman heals just in time. Yeah, Kenny Pierce. Yeah, I'm talking about the death of Superman. But Batman heals in time to come back and take back the mantle of the Bat. So there have been times where there was a Gotham without Batman and a Metropolis without Superman, and it turned out pretty weird.
At any point during those, actually, answer, was Azrael supernatural in any way?
No.
Okay. Well, at
but
any
he was
point
trained by a guy who looks very much like a dwarf.
During the 90s when this happened, they pulled away Superman, Batman, or anytime ever when Spider-Man's not there because of Dr. Octopus. It happens. Right. I've never been afraid though, like that the long-term effects of losing T'Challa because of what happened in real life. Chadwick Boseman dies. The studio decides to go in a different route and talk about how it's the mantle. I feel like I'm just worried and concerned of what can happen and the devaluing of T'Challa. I've done this many times and I'll do it again. I've created this. It's covering your side of the screen. But look, these are my top 30 on my opinion. Spider-Man is the first, Wolverine, then Hulk. And these are like the most important 30 characters. As you can see, Falcon, War Machine, Monica Rambeau is not there. The only 2 characters who don't happen to be white or green are T'Challa and Storm. And so I view in the representation game, I view Elevation as taking those characters and getting them higher on this list. I also did a list with what's his name? With Rogue Comics with me and Mike, and he placed Storm in a top 10 role where the comic book company is very behind her. I would disagree, but like even this list, you can kind of see that it kind of leans in a very white direction. And I don't think that taking the 63rd character in Marvel Comics and elevating him to 53 is like, look at us go. I feel like you got to do the representation up top. Monica, while she's not 30, I would put her in the top 40. She's probably somewhere from 31 to 39. She's in that little space, and it's worthwhile, I guess, doing a book on her and getting her closer, higher up. Likewise with Shang-Chi, likewise with Kamala.
Do you name it like in your mind? And this is just a weird question, and I'll show you where I'm going in a second. Do you name, like, if I was to say to you right now, name your top 10 characters of color, in your head, do they go from the greatest character to the not so greatest, or the other way?
Oh, top 10, I would start from number 1 and I would go down.
Why?
Because they're more important, they're more valuable, like they come to mind first.
Okay. But they're all on your list, so does that make
No.
10 any less important than 7?
Hell no. 10 is less important than 7. 7 is less important than 5. 5 is less important than 1.
Right. But we tend to dwell between 6 and 10 because, quote unquote, we believe that 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are already established and that they're always going to be in our Mount Rushmore of superheroes, as it were. We need to shift the paradigm. I agree with you 100%. Why are number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 where they are? They're there for a reason. The Spider-Man, Wolverine, Hulk. Here, I just give you these 5. Okay, from 5 to 1, Captain America's on that list because he's a legacy hero. Period. Point blank. And he's our moral equivalent to Superman on the Marvel side. Reed Richards, smart guy. Okay, you need one of those smart guys. You got a smart guy in every universe. He's that smart guy. The Hulk, he's just smart. A unique character. Solomon Grundy, we say, but Solomon Grundy don't have the personality variety of the Hulk. I don't think we've ever seen that in a character, and we never seen a character so powerful and so weird. Wolverine, guys just love Wolverine because we love to see a guy who can take a bunch of punishment and come back and hit you again. Spider-Man, everyman character. You know what I'm saying? Everybody who's ever been on the earth can see a little bit of themselves in Spider-Man from one degree to the other, and that's why they're on that list. The people on down, kind of lofty. There's no reason why Hawkeye couldn't be as popular as, say, Reed Richards.
Yeah.
I mean, when I think of my top 10 heroes, Reed Richards he's not there.
Subjectively, he's not there, but wouldn't you say like the comic book company called Marvel Comics treats Reed Richards like the writers he gets and the artists that he gets and the events that he
100%. I believe that because ask a kid who his favorite superhero is. How many of them do you think say Reed Richards?
Probably not. He's for the adults.
I want some Reed Richards underoos, said no kid ever.
Maybe some Human Torch, Flame On. It's clobbering time. They got a couple of. I mean, Moon Girl lives across the street.
That's it. That's his thing. That's his shtick, and we're cool with it. But dude, you're basically Bill Nye in real life. I guess that's I'm not. He's not impressive visually.
The last little bit here. Oh, actually, I talked about that, didn't I? Jericho drum. Okay.
We did.
Are we going to close it at 33 minutes? I think last time we went longer, but this is a 33-minute.
There's some things I'd like to discuss, if we may.
Let's go.
And I think I did talk about it on my live. This comic book right here.
Action Comics
1050. In this comic, Superman manifests a new power.
He doesn't need those. He needs less.
He manifests a new power. You know what that new power is?
The power of love.
If only. He can now. I guess we'll have Superman himself describe it. What's it say right there?
Let me see here.
Can you see it?
It says, "What are you doing?" He says, "My mind and body are stronger than they've ever been." He says, "Concepts like wouldn't." Just read it for me, please.
Weight,
It's it,
distance, temperature, even space time have largely lost their meaning for me. Now, essentially, what happened, Lex Luthor, he zapped him and sent him like across the galaxy, the universe, and you see how quick he came back. So basically, in my mind, oh, Superman has instant transmission now.
Oh. Well, Goku copied him.
Why? Why are we doing this?
They're like, "Hey,
Why?
why do people like this manga thing? Let's copy from him." Oh
I,
boy.
I, I don't know. I
Instant
don't know.
transmission, eh?
I mean, that's just the start of it. Apparently, if things like space, time, weight. So if weight has no meaning to him anymore, if he no longer accepts the concept of weight, he can literally lift anything.
See, a new writer is gonna come on the scene and say, "No, no." When he said weight, he was talking about like emotional weight, and so it doesn't count. And then he'll look at every single line and a certain point of view, trying to fix the writing because that does not
No,
need to happen.
no, not when you mention weight in the same sentence as space and time.
No, I just need some space and some time because I just can't hold the weight on my shoulders. That's what he's talking about.
And the temperature.
Ugh. You know,
Yeah.
Lois was wearing something really steamy. she heated up the temperature in the room.
This is becoming a run-on sentence.
Money G says, "Chill, be real, chat, happy Friday." Weight has no
Indeed.
meaning. Soups has extra cheat meals. That's right. Those
Oh,
carbohydrates, definitely not on a
look
keto
at you
diet.
all slick with it.
See, anything can be fixed.
I guess, but I mean,
The proverbial weight.
yeah, okay, the proverbial way. Well, let's see what the next issue of Action Comics portends, because Lex Luthor, I guess, at some point in Action Comics, everyone knows Superman's identity.
Bendis.
Okay, right. That's been undone. Okay. Lex Luthor set off a device that made everybody except the Justice League, his parents, and his son and Lois forget that Superman and Clark Kent are the same person. Because Perry White comes over to his house and has a heart attack because he walks in there as Superman. He's like, "Hey, Perry, it's me." Like, "What are you doing in Clark Kent's house, Superman?" So yeah.
Bro, everything returns to the status quo. That's kind of my issue with comic books. And then there's certain times actually I regret it. Like when Eve Ewing takes over for John Ridley, it feels like she's just gonna continue on with what he was doing.
One more day.
Oh boy. One more. I could take a one more Black Panther day. I could take that if they
Okay.
undo John Ridley. If I don't really have very fond feelings towards the intergalactic empire, but hey, it's there. And, one day some big space threat is gonna take out one of the planets that Wakanda has, and they'll be like, "Oh, you got rid of Bernan or Mars or something," and then
Right.
you know what I mean? Like that is the legacy. Those planets up there. They're just waiting for the next Skrull invasion or something to become the victims of something to kind of inspire a fight, get a war going on. Honestly, I think they'll find a way to dial his extra powers back, Superman. But I've been saying that about X-Men Resurrections for a year or so. I've been saying it when it started. Go watch my House of X issue number 5 review on the Chillmonger YouTube channel. You'll see me talk about how we need stakes. We need these 5 who are responsible for the resurrections. One of them has got to go. It can't last forever. Here we are 3 years later. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what was I gonna mention? So what's your thoughts on the look of this cover right here? Did you see my video where I told about with the significance of this cover?
I think you said it was 279 of Avengers.
Avengers 279, the 1963 run. Yeah, this
No
is
other run
literally
reached 279. You don't got to say that.
do what?
You didn't have to say that. It was from 1963. Yeah, no one has ever reached 279.
But it is well, okay. Point taken.
I'm just being silly. Go ahead, bro.
Anyway, I like the art and the liberties that were taken with the cover. But you don't see that here, do you?
No, you don't.
Yeah, see that's the kind of attention I'm paying when I'm looking at my comic books. So go ahead.
That's Be Real with D Real. Dropping the knowledge. He reads old comics. I couldn't do this Photon Friday stuff without him. He's very valuable to this channel and the community at large.
Oh.
Thank you, because you make me appreciate these comics a little bit more when I hear things like that. Artwork we don't give enough attention on, so I'll say that the artwork in this comic looks good. Every page of it looks good. You're not getting chinksed out. A lot of times when you get a black character, they find like the worst artist or just some guy who's like, I don't know, on the come up. I don't know if E-Viewing is choosing her artists, but the last few that she's been rocking with, Bob Quinn, Luciano Vecchio, and then now we got two artists with hard to pronounce names, but these guys are killing it in this
Ivan
comic.
Fiorelli and Luca Maresca.
Thank you, Ivan and Luca.
Indeed, it is. It's nice. It flows. And I don't know. I've always said I can tell when an artist is enjoying drawing something. You know, take for instance, and I might be dating myself here. A lot of people may not know of an artist named Carmine Infantino. He is the artist most responsible for the drawing of the Flash back in the like 60s, 70s, you know, and on into the 80s. But when they took him off of Flash and he was drawing other things, his art didn't look as fluid. It didn't look as detailed. And it was like they were just drawing this because, oh, this is a check, you know, versus, oh, I love drawing this character and making it. That's the way this art looks to me. It looks like Ivan and Luca enjoyed drawing this book.
Can you tell which one's Ivan, which one's Luca? Or, I mean, can you tell who the two different styles are?
If I see, now that's another thing that I can do. Give me some time. Give me some time. Maybe not today. Maybe not today. But give me some time.
I've heard the name.
Somebody
Infantino.
said they've heard Carmine Infantino. Yeah, look him up. Check him out. Rest in peace. He's gone now. He's no longer with us.
Well, yeah, doing the Flash in the 60s, you said? I don't know how many 60s artists are with us anymore.
Point taken. Isn't John Romita still alive?
Senior?
Yeah.
Oh, good for him.
Oh, I thought he was. I could be wrong. Don't take my word for it.
It's probably better to say alive than to falsely claim a death. Right?
Yes, indeed. All day, every day, twice on Tuesday.
That's right. I've been Showmonger. I'll be back on Saturday with 33 burning Avatar questions. Hope you watched that movie. I hope I have just as many people who usually show up to that live stream, which is like, you know, roughly around 20. And I appreciate that. Every single one of you guys for finding me on Saturdays talking movies. That's Be Real with D Real. Do you know what your next video is going to be? What are we looking out for?
My next video should be out in the morning, boys and girls. And it will be with regard to a social issue that has something to do with a young lady whose last name rhymes with fall.
To erect and serve.